The legislative arm of government plays a pivotal role in the success of any democratic administration. The constitutional responsibility of the legislative arm of government is to ensure the prompt passage of laws that will promote good governance and effective service delivery in the case of Nigeria, with the best interest of Nigeria and well-being of our citizens at the heart of the matter all the time. After the inauguration of the fifth democratically elected civilian government in Nigeria since the country's return to democratic rule in 1999, which was celebrated by Nigerians and friends of Nigeria from all parts of the world, the attention of Nigerians has shifted to the election of principal officers that will run the affairs of the 8th National Assembly, with major emphasis on the two topmost officers in the red chambers, the Senate, and the green chambers, the House of Representatives. In the run-up to the election of the principal officers of the 8th National Assembly, Nigeria's political landscape has witnessed high-wire politicking, horse trading, realignment of forces, and high-pitched sealing of packs. This is among gladiators in the two main political parties, the ruling All Progressive Congress (APC) and the opposition People's Democratic Party (PDP). They in fact stretch themselves beyond the limits of their wits. Up to the very last minute, no one could correctly predict where the pendulum of victory could swing among the top contenders for the position of the President of the Senate and the Speaker of the House of Representatives. This is because those being put forward have very strong pedigree, antecedents, cognitive experience, and impressive credentials. The two groups locked in a battle of wits are the Unity Forum and the senators with like minds. The Unity Forum is projecting the candidacy of Dr. Ahmed Lawan from Yobe State, a ranking member of the Senate and former university lecturer, as President of the Senate, with Senator George Akume, former two-term governor of Benue State, who has just won a fresh term in the Senate as deputy. Dr. Ahmed Lawan and Senator George Akume were to stand for the elections into the 8th National Assembly as candidates of the All Progressive Congress (APC, having won the straw polls conducted earlier. Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila, representing Surulere Federal Constituency of Lagos State, and Honorable Tahir Mangano from Borno State were backed by the All Progressive Congress for the position of Speaker and Deputy Speaker respectively into the 8th National Assembly. Meanwhile, the candidates of senators with like minds for the election as principal officers to the 8th National Assembly are Honorable Yakubu Dogara, a two-term member from Bauchi State, and his deputy, another two-term member of the House of Representatives, Honorable Yusuf Suleiman Lasso from Osun State of Nigeria. However, in what looked like a fallout of the long-raging disagreement between the National Working Committee of the APC and the senators of like minds, who insist on asserting the independence of the legislature and non-interference in the election of the officers from any quarters, a revolution was recorded in the political history of Nigeria. This is with the election of the President of the Senate and the Deputy Senate President, positions occupied by members from two different political parties. Senator Abubakar Bukola Saraki emerged the 14th President of the Nigerian Senate, and the immediate past Deputy Senate President, Senator Lawrence Ike Ekweremadu, made a comeback for the third term as Deputy Senate President of Nigeria. Presided over by the Clerk of the National Assembly, Alhaji Salisu Abubakar Mekaswa, the session began as he ensured that the roll call of the senators-elect in the chamber was duly carried out. Senator Ahmed Asani Yerema Rufai from Zamfara State nominated Senator Bukola Saraki for the position of Senate President, and Senator Dino Melai from Kogi State seconded the nomination. After the nomination of Senator Bukola Saraki, the clerk, in compliance with the Senate Standing Order 2011 as amended, called for further nominations, and there was none. Thereafter, Senator Bukola Saraki was elected unopposed as Senate President. As the sole candidate for the office, Senator Bukola Saraki humbly accepted the nomination and was led to the seat of the Senate President on the dais. The oath of office and allegiance was then administered on him.
Honestly, to the best of my ability. Faithfully, and the law, and the rules of the Senate. And always in the interest of sovereignty, integrity, solidarity, well-being and prosperity, that I will strive to preserve the fundamental objectives and ethical principles of state policy, maintain the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and that I will preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and that I abide by the code of conduct contained in the fifth schedule of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So help me God.
According to the guidelines of the Senate, 1/3 of 109 senators is all that is required, which is 37. Senator Bukola Saraki had 57 votes. He was given the instrument of office, the mace, the Senate rule book, and the 1999 Constitution as amended. Senator Bukola Saraki then banged the gravel 3 times to establish the fact that he has assumed office as the Senate President and Chairman of the National Assembly. It was then time for the election of the Deputy Senate President of the 8th National Assembly. Senator George Thompson Sekibo from Rivers State nominated Senator Ike Ekweremadu from Enugu State as Saraki's deputy. Senator Olaka Wogo, also from Rivers State, seconded the nomination. Senator Aline Dume from Borno State was nominated as the other candidate for the Deputy Senate President position. When it was put to voting, in which about 74 senators took part, Senator Lawrence Ike Ekweremadu won with 54 votes, while Senator Aline Dume polled 20 votes. Senator Ike Ekweremadu was also sworn in as Deputy Senate President as he took the oath of office and allegiance. Friends, relations, former legislators, as well as other top dignitaries witnessed the election of principal officers into the 8th National Assembly of the Upper Chambers. The governors in attendance included those of Akwa Ibom State, Mr. Emmanuel Udom Gabriel; Cross River State, Senator Ben Ayade; Taraba State, Engineer Darius Ishaku; Imo State, Rochas Okorocha; Rivers State, Yesom Wike; and Olusegun Mimiko of Ondo State. Senators Ben Obi, Musili Obanikoro, and Hairat Gwadabe joined the Alaafin of Oyo, Oba Lamide Adeyemi III, at the election of the new leadership of Nigeria's 8th National Assembly. The leadership of the 8th Senate has been described in some quarters as a hybrid Senate leadership election. In the meantime, the All Progressive Congress APC as a party has kicked against the election of Senator Bukola Saraki as the new Senate President, while the Unity Forum, led by Senator Barnabas Gemadi, considers the election of Senator Bukola Saraki as unconstitutional as it shut out 51 APC members. Therefore, they will seek all legal and political options to redress the anomaly so that legitimacy will be conferred on the office of the Senate President of Nigeria. It is understood that the APC leadership is meeting in a bid to re-establish discipline in the party and mete out the necessary sanctions To all those involved in what it says is nothing but a monumental act of indiscipline and betrayal to subject the party to ridicule and create obstacles for the new administration. In his maiden address to members of the 8th Senate, Senator Bukola Saraki said his emergence further buttresses the change Nigerians voted for in the March 28th and April 11th, 2015 election. He promised to be fair to all and praised President Muhammadu Buhari for his neutrality in ensuring that members of the National Assembly chose their leaders without outside interference.
I want to thank all members of the National Assembly, especially the distinguished senators, for your patriotism and exercise. We have just concluded in electing the leadership of the 8th Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. We have today demonstrated that even though we may belong to different positions and parties, we are ultimately united by a common desire to entrench democracy and allow its core principles to guide the conduct of our political affairs.
Senate President Bukola Saraki said, by his election, the senators have demonstrated that even though we may belong to different parties, we are ultimately united by our common desire to entrench democracy and allow its principle to guide our conduct, unquote. Continuing, Senate President Bukola Saraki said, the change that our people voted for is a change from a life of poverty and misery to a life of prosperity, happiness, security, and comfort, as well as accountability and respect for democracy. That is a change that all of us in the National Assembly must strive to justify because Nigerians want to see a proactive National Assembly, he said.
The change that our people voted for is a change for a life, from a life of poverty, misery, and hopelessness to a life of prosperity, happiness, and confidence in the future. A change from a progressive culture of fear to a life of security and comfort. A change from impunity and elite arrogance to a life of accountability and respect for every citizen, regardless of tribe, gender, religion, region, and political persuasion. This is a change that all of us in the National Assembly must strive to bring about. We must justify the privilege of representation conferred on us by our people. Nigerians want to see a proactive National Assembly that will devote itself to rigorous thinking, rolling up sleeves to further new and prosperous Nigeria.
In conclusion, Senator Bukola Saraki said that as President of the 8th Senate, I shall be guided by the enormity of the responsibilities that the moment imposes on all of us. I shall try to be just, equitable, and fair to all.
On behalf of my colleagues, I promise that we shall reward the great confidence you have reposed in us by being worthy partners and dependable allies in the greater task ahead. Similarly, I want to thank all the leaders, all the parties for the leadership you have provided and the efforts you have made in providing guidance in managing the process of lead democratic resolution of conflict and contention in any democratic process. Now we can move forward with renewed confidence in our efforts to build a stronger and vibrant policy in our country.
In some quarters, political pundits have posited that the combination of the ruling and ranking opposition senators as principal officers of the upper legislative chamber would not only stabilize and strengthen democracy, but also help to fast-track the realization of President Buhari's goal to effect drastic changes. Some also see the return of Senator Ike Ekweremadu as Deputy Senate President as very good for the inclusiveness and sense of belonging for the people of the southeastern part of Nigeria, who have feared being marginalized by the Buhari administration because of the abysmal contribution of the Southeast Zone to the electoral fortunes of President Muhammadu Buhari in the March 28 general elections. To complete the healing process, it is hoped that the South-South Zone will also be brought fully into the picture with the election of members from the zone to hold key standing committee positions in the 8th National Assembly That way, the unity of the country will be further strengthened. A new Speaker and Deputy Speaker have also been elected for the 8th House of Representatives. The new Speaker is Honorable Yakubu Dogara from Bauchi State. The Deputy Speaker is Honorable Lasum Suleiman Yusuf from Osun State. The election took place in the Green Chambers of the House of Representatives that was filled beyond capacity with 358 members from the different federal constituencies from all parts of the 36 states and the FCT. The members who turned out in the very captivating attires depicting their different cultures were also joined by their friends, family members, and other dignitaries. These included the Alaafin of Oyo, Oba Lamidi Adeyemi III, Governor Olusegun Mimiko of Ondo State, Senator Musli of Banikoro, and past speakers and deputy speakers of the House of Representatives. Among them were Honorable Gali Umar Abba, Honorable Olubumi Ete, who have both since joined the ruling APC from the PDP, under whose platform they were elected as speakers of the House of Representatives. The outgoing House leader, Honorable Mulikat Akonde Adeola, was also in attendance. The atmosphere in the House of Representatives on election day was very lively. It featured a lot of camaraderie, bonding, and friendship among members from the different parties, who threw lively banters at one another. That set the tone for what will go down in history as about the most peaceful and rancor-free election in the history of the House of Representatives. Even in the hall, intrigues, horse trading, and realignment of forces was noticeable among members as supporters of the two main contenders for the speakership position of the 8th House of Representatives, Honorable Yakubu Dogara and Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila, engaged in last-ditch campaigning, even on the floor, to sway members, especially those who have not made up their minds, to their sides. The election of the House of Representatives was presided over by the Clerk of the National Assembly, Alhaji Salisu Abubakar Mekaswa, and the Clerk of the House of Representatives, Mr. Ben Efeturi. They were assisted by other principal officers of the House of Representatives. It was strongly believed that the emergence of Senator Bukola Saraki as Senate President rubbed off on the eventual result of the election for the Speaker of House of Representatives. Before the election commenced, the names of all the members were called out. While nominations were called for, Honorable Abdul Mumini from Kano State put forward the name of Honorable Yakubu Dogara from Bauchi State. This was seconded, and Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila from Surulere Federal Constituency in Lagos State was also nominated. His nomination was also seconded. From all indications, permutations, and indeed from the achievements of the two contending members, they stood shoulder to shoulder with each other, and they were then poised for a battle royale in a race totally too close to call, and everyone held their breath to the very end. The voting that lasted for almost 3 hours saw 358 members taking part in the exercise, which brought back the nostalgic memories of the 2015 elections held barely 3 months ago. It was stated that 2 members of the House of Representatives couldn't participate in the exercise because one of them, a member representing Katsina State, died on the eve of the end of the 7th House of Representatives, and the other is away for medical treatment abroad. It should be stated that members of the House of Representatives demonstrated a lot of maturity in the way they conducted themselves during the voting, as they exchanged very lively and friendly gestures, not minding the fact that they belonged to different political parties and were supporting different candidates in a contest that clearly could go either way. Since the election followed the open secret ballot system, most of the members decided to show to the public who they actually voted for by the open display of their ballots to fulfill all righteousness, you might want to say. Again, it should be stated that the voting took place in a very friendly atmosphere, and no one was left in any doubt that whoever won or lost will take the verdict in his strides, because the exercise went on as a family affair throughout, with jokes and interesting anecdotes by members that enlivened the atmosphere. At the end of the voting exercise, the votes were sorted out and counted. The final scores shows 182 in favor of Honorable Yakubu Dogara to Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila's 174 votes, the closest race ever in the history of the House of Representatives elections.
The second position take the
The announcement of the victory of Honorable Yakubu Dogara elicited wild jubilation by his supporters, and in a rare show of true sportsmanship, Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila moved towards his colleague, the new speaker, and embraced him, and that received a wild applause from the lawmakers. The new speaker, Honorable Yakubu Dogara, was immediately sworn in by the clerk of the House of Representatives, Mr. Ben Efeturi.
That was the way you have. Yeah, put yourself. We're now
In the election for the position of Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, Honorable Lasun Suleiman Yusuf of the APC from Osun State defeated Honorable Tahir Mongono from Borno State, also of the APC, by 203 to 153 votes. In his acceptance speech, the new Speaker of the 8th House of Representatives, Honorable Yakubu Dogara, described his emergence as an assertion of the independence of the legislature. He admonished members to go a step further, to guide their loins and be ready to bequeath a legacy of accountability, autonomy, focused, progressive, and united House that can play its role as a stabilizing force in our polity. He urged members to be ready to wage a mortal combat on the cancer of corruption, incompetence, and infrastructural decay, as well as insecurity, unemployment, poverty, lack of power supply, educational inadequacies, health deficiencies, and social decay. Honorable Yakubu Dogara stated that, as a parliament, members should be ready to justify the confidence of the people in them by keeping faith with the constitutional duties of oversight functions over the executive arm of government to ensure good governance. We hear that the legislative functions of both chambers of the 8th National Assembly have been adjourned until the 23rd of June 2015. This is a much-needed break and welcome development. It is a break that gives all the parties concerned the elbow room to put in motion a great effort in healing the wounds and division created among members of the ruling All Progressive Congress Party. This is a welcome and much-needed break, during which period it is advised that a lot of effort should be put in motion to heal the wounds and division created among members of the ruling All Progressive Congress APC from the fallout of the elections into the 8th National Assembly.